Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers build-up show, where we're going to look ahead and preview Liverpool versus Manchester City. This show is brought to you by Paddy Power. Bookie's a website and an app. If you gamble, please do so responsibly, and if you do, remember to do so with Paddy Power. So tonight I'm going to be joined by three behemoths of the podcast game. I have Grizz. Grizz, how are you?
I'm good, my man. What's happening? You okay?
I thought you were stitching me up there. I'm like, what's going on? Is he after freezing? Yeah, all good with me, Grizz. Sorry for waking you up there, buddy. Are you well? Are you enjoying life at the moment? Getting
It's
used
no
to being
problem,
a champion?
man. Yeah. Life. Yeah. Well, you know how it is. I'm a champion anyway, but yeah, with Liverpool being a champion as well, it's even better.
That's
yeah.
it. Setting you up there with
How
a
you
little
doing,
cushion
Chris?
header.
Alex, you alright, guys?
Well, good, thanks.
That's the one.
How could I not be alright right now? For goodness' sake.
Exactly. You're the Neil Mellor to my. Was it Neil Mellor with the cushion header? Wasn't it? To my Steven Gerrard. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. There you go. There you go. So, Alex, thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Lovely to be back. Haven't been on the show for a good couple of weeks. Oh, West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. Yarmolenko with the goal. Sorry, I'm just watching that now. But yeah, no, really missed the show. I haven't been on for a while. So happy to be back, and what a show it is, lads. Looking forward to it. It's good to have you back. How are you acclimatizing to being a Premier League winning champion fan? A top super fan? Well, I went to Liverpool on Monday to film one of those emotional montage videos with the slow-mo and stuff like that. And I was filming outside the ground, and a lad bitter blue nose came up to me and went, "What are you filming there, lad?" And I said, "Oh, the Klopp TV, just a little montage." He went, "Yeah, well, I'm an Evertonian, lad. Yeah, blue veins there, shit on the red shite." And,
nice, a friendly welcome.
Yeah, no, really nice, really friendly. So I'm accustoming it fine. I just can't wait till the 18th to lift the bad boy. Well, this is it. And Chris, what about you? How are you?
Well, you saw the stakes of my messages when it happened.
Yeah.
Very, very hungover for about 2 days. So yeah, do you know what? It's still not quite sunk in. I keep getting giddy, and then forget about, I think it was the day after I was making a brew, and it sounds daft, but getting giddy going, this first time I've made a cup of tea when we've been champions. This is, and a little giggles to myself about, when you see like things flash up of old games going, yeah, we're champions now, isn't it? And things like City winning, City battered Newcastle, and you always had that like, oh, for fuck's sake, City won, and you went, who cares? We've won. We've won. It's so surreal because I've been so used to watching everybody else win the one thing we've always wanted. It's like, this is brilliant. I think it'll sink in more when we see Henderson lift the trophy.
Well, I think that's it. But I think one of the things as well, one of the problems maybe has been we won the league without playing a game last week, and then we've had to wait the longest gap, you know what I mean, between games, which probably hasn't helped. It would have been nice to see them out on the pitch, but it probably builds up to this. We've got Stefan Mack, no Gav tonight. No, he's having a night off, a well-earned rest, and because he's got the dream team behind him here, we can fill the spaces with it. We're not like Man City, who can't fill up a Zoom screen. We'll fill up our quota of floating heads, not a bother. But yeah, it's sort of been a weird week. We won the league. We've all been probably in the same boat. If you'd have asked us all 6 months ago how do you want to win the league, it wouldn't have been behind closed doors while Man City were getting beat by Chelsea and the players were celebrating in a hotel. That wasn't on the top of our list. But I've actually enjoyed the looking at all the celebrations, looking at the players, being able to enjoy it nearly as fans, without doing their job. Do you know what I mean? It was a different way of seeing it and of celebrating, and I quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing the emotion, that maybe wouldn't have been on the pitches. I know we're a quite emotional team and we're an emotional manager, but it was nice looking at them all just letting their hair down and running amok at it as well, at the same time. So it's been emotional, Has any of you been following the coverage of Liverpool as the champs. I don't know if you have been looking at how other media outlets, other fan bases and all have been maybe treating it. There's been a grudging maybe praise that hasn't been, you know, widespread roll out a red carpet. It's been quite grudging. Chris, what do you think?
Oh, it's great. I love the fact that loads of them are really down and bitter and trying to downplay it and say, well, you haven't done this, or you would have won this, you would have won that. People downplay it because it's a fear thing, and you know you've got them. You know you've got a good team when people start playing you down. Yeah. We used to do it all the time with United. Oh, it's not great, United. I know they won the league, but it's not that great. You know, they could have done this, they could have done that. You're like, if you win the league, we've set the record for winning the league with the most games left. You know, I don't give a shit what you say, because you can try your weak league argument, but you know, to win a league with 7 games to go, that takes some doing. And I think if you play a few of the fans now, you've got to suck it up and take your medicine. You know, you've given it out to us. You give it out for years, and that's it.
That's true, Grizz.
But you know the weights. Do you know the weights happened and the way it's lingered on? Like, let's be real and let's be honest. We've had the League One since January, like February certainly, right? But January mostly. And then the way it's lingered on, all right, it's been an absolute awful time for many around the world with this pandemic. And, you know, nobody likes to sort of, you know, talk about it in any sort of positive light whatsoever. But I will. The fume and the bitterness from rival fans, it's just carried on and on. They've come out with all sorts of plans and agendas and narratives, and the longer it's sort of been official that we're going to be made champions, it's just, they know we're champions, and we're going to be unbearable, and it's going to last longer and longer. We're going to be the longest champions in a calendar year, aren't we? So, and also the fact that, you know, we've won it with 7 games to go. So absolutely another killer for them, because, you know, wherever happens, you know, we're champions. We're just laughing at watching games like today, like so-called challenges for next season, getting beat at West Ham. You know, we could just sit back and listen to the likes of Man United and Chelsea think, oh, this is our year now, and we can just laugh at them and say, nah, mate, you're miles away. You're absolutely miles away.
Exactly. There's so many monkeys taking off our back now, isn't there, with this league win? And it piles the pressure on. Alex, what do you think? It piles the pressure onto a lot of other fan bases and teams.
Yeah, I mean, the banter, and not even banter, I call it abuse that I received. I mean, growing up in North London, I was the only Liverpool fan really about. So, within my group anyway, apart from my family. And it was tough. Many years. I mean, Roy Richards in the comments here, he says, I can't stop punching holes in my wall since we've won it. So he might need a bit of filler or something there in his wall. But no, it finally is the one thing that literally no one can talk to us about now. And their only thing now is, oh, now you're relevant, you've won one. You can never win with everyone, can you? We're always going to have some jealous and bitter people, as I saw outside the stadium the other day. But it's a beautiful thing, and we've just got to bask in it. But we've also got to educate people that, listen, if you're not congratulative of this team, then it's just pure bitterness, you know. So
exactly,
if you know your footy, you know the crack, and you know it's deserved.
That's very true. Very true, you know, and I think a lot of people are losing sight of that, you know. When we'll move on to, a lot of people are commenting about Danny Murphy's comments, and that's something we will be talking about in a few minutes. But continuing on, like the scenes after Liverpool won the league, it's been very widely reported, and we've talked about it on pods already. But just to give you guys a chance, it's nearly like fan bases or sections of the media are waiting on anything to get Liverpool on, and we walked into a trap, you know, with the celebrations. Not so much on the Thursday. I think the Thursday when it happened and the fans were up at Anfield and all, you know, that's fine. That's fine. But the Friday when it all went to shit then, and it just gave the excuse to everyone to sort of, right, we can get them on this, and they've been piling in with all, not just fans, and I'm not talking about Twitter, like I was listening to other podcasts and they were reveling in it as well, you know. Chris, what have you made of the antics and the reaction to you know, firework gate?
Yeah, I mean, the Thursday one, I don't really see as big a deal with the Thursday one, because it was people who lived in and around Liverpool. It was quite spontaneous, because it was nobody. Quite a lot of people probably didn't think it would happen. I got more of an issue with the Friday one. The Friday one felt more planned, and you know, it is only 2,000 people. It's still 2,000 people. Shouldn't be doing it. The firework things is just a nonsense. Why are you firing fireworks at a pissing building?
Mm.
But not even worse. I saw one video. The firework went into the crowd.
Yeah,
could have killed
same
someone.
Same
It's
fella, isn't it?
absolute knobhead. You know, so I've got no time for football fans, and it's all this. I want to be the first to celebrate it. Look, you know, I've waited. I'm 37. I've waited 30 years for it. You know, and I live quite close to Liverpool, so I could have gone to town, but you know, I can't go to town. No, we're not allowed. So I've waited 30 years to celebrate the league. I can wait another couple of months. It's just like, you know, it's a little bit of, come on, girl, you have to wait. Just wait. You know, you waited long enough. But yeah, you've just given people an excuse. But my concern with it is the long-term negative impact it'll have on fan culture in terms of Spirit of Shankly and people that do a lot of stuff for the police, and you know, the fans won't do it. You know, the fans will organise things properly. But they've now got the stick. They've now got the stick to beat you with, to go.
Yeah.
Well, you said fans wouldn't gather, and they have. Now, admittedly, we said fans wouldn't gather around after the game, and they haven't. But still, you're just giving certain sections of the media the excuse to beat a football fans with, and they like to do that anyway. So
Exactly.
Look, the lad who got caught with the firework, whatever punishment he gets, he fully deserves it. I've got no sympathy for him whatsoever, and I don't get the mentality.
Yeah, Alex, what about you? How have you found the reaction?
Yeah, the lad's a tit. I think everyone would agree on that. There was some rumours going around that he was an Everton fan, but they were quickly dismissed as that was the wrong picture. Let's not forget as well, I mean, first and foremost, no one should be firing fireworks into crowds or at buildings. But that is a grade 2 listed building. That's not just any building.
It's a symbolic building, isn't it? It's an iconic building.
It's iconic. You're not allowed to touch it. And also, I think it gave, you know, the Everton fan, Mr. Joe Anderson, the mayor of Liverpool, probably you know, a stick to throw at us. There was rumours that the lights were blue because he was an Everton fan, or silliness really. But I mean, if you're watching someone light up a firework, you can't run over to them and say, "What are you doing? It's already burnt." So the fact that he's stood there and allowed himself to point at the building is just fucking act of terrorism. Genuinely.
It was ridiculous, and I'm glad he got called out and he got found for it. But you know, there was a lot of stuff happening around the celebration, and it was unsavory. And I heard one thing where that you touched on. Joe Anderson there, you know, was saying about crowds gathering and the league should be voided for that. Grizz, what do you? I've heard stuff about like Spirit of Shankly were very vocal when Joe Anderson said that, and haven't been as vocal since the incident. Like, how have you found the reaction to the whole thing?
I just think, you know, the way Klopp talked about it, you could see the disappointment. You could hear the disappointment in his voice when he referenced, you know, people that. I think the initial celebration on what night would it have been? The Thursday.
Yeah.
When we actually secure the league, or you know, the Chelsea result. I mean, that's emotion outpouring. That I wasn't there myself, but apparently that was good as gold, and that was lovely. But the whole Friday thing, you know, and the fact that so many people planned it, you know, was disappointing. But you're always, it's impossible to regulate in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
It's impossible to regulate buffoons. Buffoons will buffoon. That's it. You know, you can't do nothing about it. And that guy who, you know, threw the firework in the crowd, well, you know, as Alex says, that's it's, that could have come out of his hand and gone anywhere or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's pure barbaric. What was he thinking? What was going through his head? But again, you got to take it in isolation. He was a knobhead, and generally, it seemed like the day was fine, but then around 6-7 in the evening, when the liquor takes its effect, apparently it got a bit sort of. That's the one. It got a bit out of control, but it is what it is. You don't condone it, and hopefully every single one of them, listen to Jurgen Klopp in his press conference and the words he said since then, and hopefully they take heed, because I think as Chris said, it's the effect and on Liverpool and the fan base and sort of how it gives media and that already we know don't like us and don't favor us, gives them sort of energy, and you don't want to give them energy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's disappointing from that side. And hopefully everyone listens and takes it on board now.
Exactly. But look, we won't dwell on it too much. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Dicko makes a great point there about the volunteers that came to clean up the mess on Friday morning. I think they deserve a shout out, rightly so.
Absolutely.
Very much so, because that was one of the biggest disappointments. Look, as you've all said, dickheads are going to be dickheads, and people are going to get lardy, and people are going to carry knives, as someone touched on in the chat as well. Knife crime is a huge issue all across everywhere, not just Liverpool, not just the UK, in Ireland, everywhere. It's getting ridiculous. People are always going to do that, but the mess that was left, it left and all, it just visually, they're the pictures you can easily get, and just looks like, the people didn't care. So, look, let's just move on from that, because like I said, we walked into a trap. They set a trap, we walked into it, and we move on. Don't let it deter from the fact that we're now the champs. So we certainly won't. And anyway, so tomorrow night, lads, we play the defending champions in the Etihad. They'll have a full house there of 0 as usual. I know it's always there, isn't it? It's an open goal. It's great. I love it. But listen, they're a great team. Let's make no bones about it. There's been a lot of talk about Guard of Honor. And Chris, I'm going to come to you first. Danny Murphy made a comment on TalkSport the other night, and he more or less insulted and was disgracefully put down the Liverpool players by saying, why should Kevin De Bruyne have to clap his hands for these players who aren't fit to lace his boots? What did you make of those comments and Murphy's subsequent apology?
It's a typical example of Danny Murphy, as he always does. Engages his mouth, the brain comes about 3 days later, and it's just a non-story. I don't know why it was a thing to comment on. The Guard of Honor is a thing in England. I've seen United do it. I've seen Chelsea do it. I think we've done it in the past. It's just a thing you do. It's a sign of respect. It's just a thing you do. Kevin De Bruyne is not. He says Kevin De Bruyne is not. Some of the players aren't fit enough to lace Kevin De Bruyne. That may be your opinion, but he's still 23 points behind Liverpool. So somewhere along the way this year, he hasn't quite done it. Not just Kevin De Bruyne, the whole of the City. But Danny Murphy, he comes across sometimes as a very bitter little man. I don't think he's ever really got over the fact that Rafa sold him.
No, and that's what I think it comes down to.
And there are times with Danny Murphy, you forget he played for Liverpool the way he talks. I think he associates that with Tottenham, but he's on TalkSport, and you know what that type of radio show is like. It caters to a certain demographic, and Liverpool bashing is quite a good way to get listeners and quite a good way to get people to phone in.
Exactly.
To be honest, Danny Murphy, thanks for the memories when you play for us and you scored those goals against United, but I just don't think about him very much. I don't really listen to him.
And Alex, what did you make of the comments? How did you find it? Did you were you like Chris there, just thinking it's a bitter man having a bitter rant, or some of the guys in the chat there saying that it's TalkSport? We know the MO of TalkSport is to get people on saying controversial things, to drive a narrative. Or how did you find the comments?
I'm not sure it was anything to do with TalkSport. I just think it was a stupid comment. And my initial thought was just bewilderment. And actually, that he'd say that first as a former Liverpool player, but I'm sure he's a Liverpool fan. It doesn't make any sense. I had DJ Spoonie on top of the Cops last night on the Cop TV, and he's a good mate of Danny. And he said, "Look, I've got to say, like, I'm not going to disrespect Danny, or I know Danny's a nice fella, but what he's just said there is flawed. First of all, because Kevin De Bruyne does not equal Manchester City." And also, we're not talking about individuals. Why would you compare De Bruyne to anyone? You know, even if he is better, it's a team thing. And like Chris said, 23 points behind. So, like Chris said as well, it's a tradition. I mean, we've all seen it when Van Persie got one at the Emirates. There's a saying in cricket, it's just not cricket. And that's, you know, if you're not playing by the rules, you're not sticking to traditions and stuff like that. And it is a tradition. And Pep, to be fair to him, has come out and said, you know, we are looking forward to it. They're going to get a good reception. They deserve it. They're champions. So for Danny Murphy, I still don't get it. I mean, I know he's apologised. Bollocks to that, to be honest. He said what he said now. It's just I cannot get my head around how those words came out of his mouth.
The apology roiled me up with, you know, I said it in the sport of the moment, the heat of the moment, you know, like as if it was something that comes out. And Grizz, that's what I want to come on to you for, Grizz. How did you find that? What's your take on it?
Do you know, I only found out that it's an actual real quote yesterday. I can't remember, you know. I tweeted it straight away.
You thought it was made up.
No, honestly, Keith, because I stopped listening to Talk Sport about 5 years ago. I haven't listened to them, and I thought it's one of those, you know, people make up captions with fake quotes or sorts, right? And I thought it's that, but when I realized from sort of social media that it's actually happened. Sorry, I realized it's real when he apologized. I saw I heard that, you know, when he's apologized, and I thought to myself, that's a mad thing to do. And it's the maddest thing to do on Talk Sport, where they're known to bash Liverpool. And so therefore we expect you to be sort of slightly, not favourable. Don't favour us. No problem. We don't need your nice words about us. Don't be kind to us, but don't fucking talk shit about us. When Talk Sport are inciting you, they're the most insightful sort of media outlet out there, especially towards Liverpool, right? And we know, you know, the Andy Goldsteins and whatever, all the rest of them, right?
Well, that's it. I have that up on the screen there. Tommy put that in, that TalkSport is mucked. Cundy and Goldstein are two muckets on it as well, and they're two of the worst.
Well, there you go. And so therefore, an ex-Liverpool player, say what you want about Collymore, he does have positive things to say about Liverpool at times. This guy very rarely talks about Liverpool in a positive light. And not only that, he went, look, you know, he's a stupid comment. It doesn't make sense. You know, again, was he on the alcohol intake or something? Was there something, you know, surely something. That doesn't, it makes sense what he said. No, but guys, do you know what I mean? It didn't make sense what he said.
No, it didn't make sense.
Oh, Liverpool fans, some of those players will be sort of feeling awkward. Fuck off. Awkward. We'll be feeling awkward like, oh my God, you guys are so good, but yet we finished 30 points clear. That's why we're feeling awkward. Like, for their professionalism, how good they are. We don't feel awkward because, like, but the point being is, it's mad how it's blown out proportion. It's nothing. As both Alex and Chris said, it's a tradition. It's been going on for years. And just because Liverpool are getting it, suddenly
why is it an issue? Bollocks. Yeah, it's an issue now. Man, that it's Liverpool. One of the issues I had with sort of Murphy saying it was, you know, to throw Liverpool under the bus like that, it just, as you've all said, it didn't make any sense. You know, it's an issue that's been, it's something that's happened for years. You know, I don't know when it first started, but it's a tradition that happens. And the fact that it's even an issue now because it's Liverpool is just beggars belief. It speaks loads, in my opinion. But the fact that he said that to me is like, so a player that he thinks is a superior player shouldn't respect other players. So, like, did he go into games when he was in his peak against Man United? And was he sort of bound down to Roy Keane and Paul Scholes? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're superior players to him, was he going in and, you know, picking them up if he tackled them, asking them are they okay, and patting them on the arse as they're going by? Do you know what I mean? It shows an absolute lack of self-awareness for me for the next footballer to be saying that about any disrespecting any other footballer, never mind the champions, and never mind the fact that he's an ex-player of said champions. But I think Chris, you said it, he's very bitter since Rafa kicked him out the door. He has been ever since then. He's been very negative to Liverpool. I've very rarely heard him saying that, I'm positive about us, So look, we'll take Danny Murphy with a pinch of salt. I just want to say to everyone in the chat, you are putting great comments in there. I'll try and get a few up on the screen as we're going, but thanks for throwing them in and keep her up. So the guard of honor thing, it's coming in, and as we said, why is it even a problem? It shouldn't be a problem. And I think Pep Guardiola, Alex, you said Pep Guardiola has come out and he said that's no problem. We're going to do that. We're going to respect it. I mean, if you're Pep Guardiola, you're going to be saying to your players, yous are going to fucking line up there and you're going to clap these on because these absolutely wiped the floor with yous this season. So this is our punishment. Do you know what I mean? This is our punishment. You have to clap these boys on and look at what they're after achieving that should have been yours. Go ahead there.
Sorry, that'll give Pep a good character test of his team.
Well, who he's going to play?
Fire up. Well, no, not that. When he does the lineup, he'll probably see it a few games afterwards. Who's that going to fire up? Because someone like a Kevin De Bruyne and I know he's injured, but an Aguero, Laporte, they won't like that, and they'll fire them up for next year, which will make them even more difficult next year. It'll probably help Pep iron out the ones of who's up for this fight next year and who do I need to move on.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
The thing with that God, it could be for them. It could be a great motivator.
Yeah,
it could be. And for Liverpool, you can use it the same way as a great motivator. Going, look at this team got 100 points last year, and we've wiped the floor from this year. We could do this again. So it's for both of them. It instills the next round of the rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. There's Stevie keep me on my toes there. Keith just slacking again. Stevie, I'll do my best to get some comments up. I'm too engrossed in this conversation with these wonderful talking heads in front of me to worry about
on the respect thing there. When boxers fight each other, they go in there to knock each other's faces out and kill each other almost. Then they get up once they've been knocked out and they know what their name is. And then they go over to each other and hug each other.
Yeah.
So surely in football, it must be way easier to show respect.
Yeah.
Because you're not having to fight for 12 rounds. You just clapping someone as they walk past.
Yeah.
Not me.
That's all it is. Exactly. It's a little clap of your hands and then the game starts. You know what I mean? It's crazy that it's such a big deal. I just want to talk something about Man City. We've seen Leroy Sané he hasn't officially gone yet, but he's going to Bayern Munich on an absolute whopper of a deal. I don't know if it's true, the figures that are getting bandied about. Man City offered him 170k a week. Bayern Munich apparently are doubling that. It's a lot of people on Twitter and that, and I know Twitter is just an echo chamber where you shouldn't take everything with a pinch of salt and anyway on it, but is it a sign, like people were like, is this a step down by Sané? Why is he moving on? But I think it's disrespectful to Bayern Munich to say that this is a step down for a German player to want to go and play for the biggest German club. But you rarely see City losing top players. It's not something we've become accustomed to. Grizz, what do you think, like with Sané moving on? Is this a one-off, or could you see if let's say the European ban gets upheld, is it something that we might see one or two others sort of following suit?
Yes, if their ban gets upheld. And the reason for that, there's just, there'll be mutiny. There's just no, they haven't got the same sort of team spirit, family. There's no allegiances, those players. But the Sané ones, I'd say a slight one-off in terms of, look, he's a German kid. We all know every German kid grows up wanting to play for Bayern Munich one day. It is what it is. He didn't, when he was fit, he wasn't I wouldn't say he was a guaranteed starter at Man City. And not that he's going to be a guaranteed starter at Bayern. We know the sort of riches they have to choose from up there. But, every young kid, it's similar to the Phil Coutinho with us. His dream was always to play for Barcelona, and we were never going to stop him. Obviously, they tried to keep him, but his mind was set up from a long time. He was, he actually ironically got injured against us in the Charity Shield when the deal was apparently already agreed and done, and he wasn't supposed to play in that game.
Yeah.
But he played and he picked up a season-long injury. So unlucky for him, he would have been gone last season, which is again unfortunate for City because they would have got probably double the fee. Because he would have had more left on his contract. So a bit of a fuck up for City all round, which is lovely.
Big fan. Big fan of that.
Big fan of that. But yeah, if they get the 2-year upheld, which is very unlikely, we all know it's not going to be upheld. But if they were to get the 2-year ban upheld, then I'm definitely thinking a lot of their players will want to leave. Especially the current king, the Ginger King they've got over there, the Kevin De Bruyne. He won't stay there without Champions League football for 2 years.
He's 29, so it's he's in his peak years, isn't he? And
he'll want to win the Champions League. Before the end of his career, and if they've got a 2-year ban, then he's gonna.
Kev makes a good point that Bayern could be losing Alaba, Coleman, and Thiago as well. Is there a lot of talk? I know 9 times out of 10 that's just looking for the more money in the new contracts, but they are looking at a bit of a clear out at Bayern and restocking, and that's why they're willing to pump money into Sané. He's a very exciting player. He is. When he was on form, he terrorised us in games, and I, for one, would be glad to see the back of him. But it's just it's a bit of a quirk to see a player leaving Man City like that. That they would have wanted to keep. It's not something they bought in that player since they've become cash rich, like Aguero, like Yaya Toure, like Silva, and they stay. I know Yaya was moved on, but they got the best years out of them, and to see a player so young moving on, that might be a bit of a blow to the morale in that camp. Alex, another thing I wanted to talk about: Man City have been installed as the favourites for the Premier League next year. Discuss. Boy, everyone.
Bookies.
The bookies.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I was just going to react to what Grizz said there and
walk away.
Sané, I reckon him leaving could potentially be the start of this City downfall. They're always going to have money, so they're always going to make a big signing to make it look like they're still up there. But Company's gone. They weren't the same this year. Silva's going probably at the end of the season.
He's gone.
And listen, if they get 2 years banned, even if it's 1 year, players are out the door. They're making a queue at the door, especially if you're De Bruyne. 29, you've not even got to. I mean, has he got to a semi-final of the Champions League before? I'm not sure.
No.
So it's about them being favourites. I don't see that. But listen, we're very happy being the underdogs. We always have been. Who bet that Leicester would win the league, and look what happened. The bookies don't mean too much, especially at this point, when we're not even in the next season yet. So I think we've got to remember this season's still going, and let's see how City finish it, because if we beat them there on tomorrow night, questions might get asked, because they've lost. If they lose tomorrow, that's 9 in this season.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely a ridiculous amount of defeats. As Max points out in the chat there, he swears Sané was never the same after Trent pocketed him. Why not? And it's nice. We're going to be discussing the scouts are in our team in a few minutes. But before we move on to Trent, Chris, the match tomorrow, how do you see it going? We'll get our guard of honour. We'll be clapped onto the pitch. It won't be a big deal. When the game starts, how do you think Liverpool will approach the game, and how do you think City will approach the game? Will it be, one thing we spoke about there before we came on air, we briefly touched on, is that, in my opinion, and I don't know if you all agree, the standard of the games has improved. I think the intensity in the games has improved as they've gone on. And it might just be a nice game. The West Ham-Chelsea game was a decent enough match earlier on. There looks to be better quality coming in. The players are getting more used to the empty stadiums and all that. Can you see it being a good game or a tight game, or how do you see it going?
My gut feeling is it's probably going to be a bit like the game last year, a proper entertaining end-to-end shootout, basically ding dong. Because the game last year was, I know we lost, but it was a brilliant game. End to end, it was really, both teams really went at it. I think it's going to be a really entertaining, high-quality game. It's actually going to be nice to watch a game that, although you don't want to lose to City, because our record at the Etihad isn't great.
Yeah.
But it is going to be nice going pressure off a little bit because, in some ways the results don't matter, although we'd like them to. So I'm actually looking forward to this. This is one of the few times I'm going to watch a City game where I'm probably not going to be nervous about how we do at the Etihad. In terms of what the guys were saying before, I think the talk of City downfall and players leaving City is possibly a little bit premature. Yes, I think the likes of Sterling, De Bruyne will want to leave to get a 2-year ban. The big kicker is who could afford to buy them. I know they can force a move and players can force moves, but you're talking extremely big transfer fees for those players. And Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, have they got that kind of money to get them? If they do, then I think that'll be appealing. But that's where I'm not convinced you'll see a lot of the big players leave, because I just don't know. I just can't off the top of my head, correct me if I'm wrong, but who could afford to buy Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, that's a big issue.
Who could afford, because no one in England could get him. I mean, you could argue United have got the money, but not because United. We haven't got the money for that level, and I'm not
for
the
that
Spanish clubs
age
have got that level of money.
Yeah,
and I don't think the Spanish clubs have got the money for him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think. I think the Sané thing was a little bit of a. I think he wanted to go back to Germany. He wasn't a regular for City anyway, so it felt like a best move for everyone. It just felt like they got to a point where it was like mutually beneficial for both of them. I mean, why they played him in the League Cup game, the Charity Shield, I'll never know.
It was a crazy one because, as Grizz said, all the talk was that he was, his suitcase was on the bus ready to bring him to the airport, and he's getting a game. You know what I mean? So it's unusual. Grizz, how do you see the match going tomorrow? Avo's just put a comment on there. He reckons Sterling doesn't play and doesn't have to do the Guard of Honour. Is that something you can see happening? Because it's something that I sort of think Pep may, because Sterling has a psychological barrier against playing against us, and the thing that happened with Joe Gomez and all this. Do you think Pep might hold back Raheem Sterling from the match tomorrow and play maybe a weaker team, or can you see them going full strength?
If he does, he will be seen as a very weak manager, and Sterling will be looked at as a very mentally weak player. I don't think that's the case. From my perspective, I'm looking at it like very similar to the Charity Shield, where it doesn't really mean much, but it sets markers. And we've discussed it before, but I remember in the second half after that Charity Shield game against City, where we really, really bashed them, and to bash a Pep Guardiola team for 45 minutes and keep them penned in their area the way we did. I had done a show for the lads at 90 minutes, and I said and there was sort of Man City fan, a Chelsea fan, a Spurs fan, and a United fan sitting there, and they said, how do you see the season progressing? I said, I'm very happy. I think we won the mental war in that second half, and they all laughed like loudly. I'm going to put the clip up soon on social media. Should be fun. Everyone give it a like and a retweet. Why not?
Of course.
But they all laughed. They said mental war. Well, who's laughing now? So the thing is, we tomorrow are in a similar situation with them, where I really think we sort of pressed down on the accelerator and thrashed them and bashed them tomorrow. Don't take it lightly. And I think Man City and Pep, definitely, most certainly Pep Guardiola will be doing the same. He will look to sort of set a marker down and sort of let us know that we're not going away. I mean, as Chris says, it is slightly premature to sort of call doom and gloom on Man City. But tomorrow's game, in my opinion, does set the marker again, because you've got to remember it's a quick turnover before the season starts.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be. I don't think nothing's definite yet, is there?
Don't think so. But
no, exactly.
The talk is 3 weeks, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's going to be a quick turnover.
That's going to kill City. If you get Champions League final, you got a 3-week gap.
Yeah. So in these kind of situations, no holds barred. You just take advantage of your sort of ascendancy, and that's how I look. That's how I think Liverpool will approach it. I think we'll be damn up for it. I don't think there'll be any sort of slacking or sort of slowness in our tempo. And it's about Man City, how hungry they are. it's intriguing. I think it will it will show how hungry and how up for they are, because the first time they've been challenged, last season, fair play to them, they were challenged for a long time, and they rose to it and was magnificent. But they've shown they can't maintain it, where we've shown we're fucking strong, and we can. We're animals at the moment, and we can maintain our energy and everything, the tempo, everything about us, the spine, everything's clicking. They've got players wanting to leave or leaving. Champions League bans hovering over them. So I say I'm pretty confident. I'm very confident that we won't lose tomorrow. 100%.
Good stuff, good stuff. Max threw a comment in there. It'd be nice to see Gomez and Sterling shake hands on the guard of honour, put it all to bed. And it would be, because, it was very petulant by Sterling how he reacted on the whole England thing as well. He carried it into that. And it was a bad look for him. And look, he's a good player. He's a top player. He just hasn't ever done it against us. I hope it doesn't start, but it would be nice to see them sort of just moving on, be rising above all that sort of carry on. But we'll see.
The one thing you'll say about that Sterling incident, which I think Guardiola will be fuming over, is what led to it was, I think Go was saying, like, unlucky at the weekend or something like that. Nothing particularly, yes, winding each other out as footballers do. But the fact he reacted in that way, that was when I thought, that says psychologically, we've got to be. That showed that some players were rattled. Not all, because Sterling's not renowned for reacting like that. The fact he did, kind of when that win against City has meant something, and they're seeing that as the uphill battle, and it's proven as the season's gone on. So it wouldn't surprise if Guardiola's had words with Sterling saying, "We can't show it's hit us," which is easy. I know it's easier said than done, but it did surprise when I saw the Sterling thing, because I don't think that's a normal reaction for Sterling. He's normally a bit more mature, a bit more clever than that.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That says to me maybe it was possibly a little bit of the pressure getting to us that we'd built, which is great, which is echo what Grizz was saying from the Charity Shield.
It is great. Before we move on, Stefan is giving me stick here, and he's dead right. Only 18 likes. Well, Gav is usually hitting 80 plus. It's not a competition between me and Gav. We're both beautiful in our own way. But we do have a lot of people watching us tonight. So if you are watching us on YouTube, lads, give us an L like there, subscribe, bell icon, all that good stuff, and it'll ensure that you never miss one of our magic shows ever again. Alex, it's a good point that Chris makes there about Sterling. Like, he's a mature. Even when he was with us, he was a very mature player. He just maybe lets himself down some of the off-field stuff that he got caught up with. Not talking about any of the stuff that he got lashed out with or nothing, but he's done things maybe that has been. Yeah, he's done things that maybe hasn't looked good. Exactly, it's not been the best things, but other than that, he is quite, when he broke through our team, like, he was quite mature. He could play out good positions. He was tactically very aware, but it was a bit of a bad look for him. Do you think he plays tomorrow, Alex, or what do you think?
I mean, 50-50 really. I think it was one of the last things Rafa actually ever did at Liverpool was have Sterling come up from QPR to have a trial. And then, what I have to say about Sterling is, no matter the way he left Liverpool, you have to take your hat off. He's a young man with so much responsibility now on his shoulders, especially speaking out against racism. And he's just matured so much in the last couple of years. So whatever you think of him as a player, as a rival, you have to put that aside and sometimes say that, there's greater purposes than football sometimes. And I think he's well on his way to changing the landscape of how racism is looked at in football, and you have to take your hat off to him for that. I think going back on the match, we haven't won there since 15-16, that 4-1. We won in the Champions League, but there's a slight hoodoo. We never keep a clean sheet there, let's be honest. I think Aguero scored 7 times in a row against us at the Etihad, so the fact that he's not playing psychologically is a nice one. I just hope to see Dejan Lovren nowhere in that defence. But even if Aguero's not playing, they can bring in Jesus, they can bring on Bernardo on the side, they can bring on all these players. So it's going to be a tough game. I actually agree with Grizz on this one. I think we should go there and beat them, and I think we're in the right mind frame too. You got to remember, their eyes are fully on the FA Cup and the Champions League. They've got no interest really in this game, apart from saving face for next season. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we won 3 or 4-1, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll
stop you there because we're going to move on to use our score predictions and lineups now in a second. But we're going to have a quick interlude. So just bear with me a second here, folks. The other night we started off our review of players of the season, of going through the team and just doing a little review. We started off at Alisson Becker, and tonight we're moving on to our right back. The scouts are in our team. He's Trent Alexander-Arnold. The scouts are in our team, and it's brilliant to be able to talk about a player like Trent. So I'm going to give you all a little chance to gush over number 66, the creative hub, and I'm going to start with Chris. Trent Alexander-Arnold, talk to me.
Absolutely love him. He has took a team on from such young age to a different level. And when you think, he's broken the sides where, and I know he's a bit maligned at the moment, but Nathaniel Klein was seen as, our solid right back. Man for all occasions. He was fine. He was fine. Trent has gone and took that to the next level. I mean, debut at Man United where he looked a little scrawny kid and did really well. But I mean, the way he announced himself to me was Hoffenheim away. He's 18. It's a key qualifier. We get a free kick, and this 18-year-old kid goes off this, and it's an absolute peach he puts in, and just like, where's this come from? This is unbelievable. And his development has been a bit like Liverpool's the last 2 years. It's been rapid. People say he's developed his defensive side. The whip he can get on the ball is outrageous. We just saw his Crystal Palace goal. It's brilliant. That's that's an area of his game I think will just only get better. He could be our Gerrard, what we have for Gerrard for free kicks. He could be that attacking wise, but it's just his all round game, his cleverness. The amount of times we switch for corners, he ends up playing 10-20 minutes at left back. Doesn't really look phased. And it's just his maturity and his calmness for such a young lad. How old is he? 21 now?
21, yeah. No,
21. League winner, 2 Champions League finals, already played at a World Cup for England. This isn't normal. You don't see many young 21-year-olds playing that level of games at that, at that age. He's just, I love watching him, and the best thing you can say about him is when he doesn't play, we all go, there's something missing. We just haven't got the same wit. And this is a really young player, and off the pitch, he's even better. The charity work he does, every Christmas, him and his family feed the homeless on Christmas Day, stuff he does with food banks, he's an absolute star on and off the pitch. He's an absolute credit to everybody.
That's a good point. We spoke about Sterling's maturity previously, and Alexander-Arnold is just like so mature for a person so young. I mean, I have a daughter older than him. Do you know what I mean? And he's playing, as you've said, 2 Champions League finals, winning 1. He's been to a World Cup. He's not, no offense to my daughter. I mean, she's all right and all that, but she hasn't been to the Champions League final. So I don't know if I'm holding her in the wrong. I'm putting her in the wrong category here, but he's done a lot for such a young age. Grizz, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, we could talk about him all night. What do you think?
Future Liverpool captain, right there.
Yeah.
If he doesn't captain Liverpool, I'll do anything any viewer or listener tells me to do as a forfeit. He will end up Liverpool captain. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Everything about him, as Chris says, even off the pitch, talks the game, walks the game, lives the game. An absolute example to every youngster growing up in Liverpool that, dreams can come true. You never hear about him sort of in social media, or media, anything bad, anything naughty, anything like that, anything controversial. Gets on the game. He plays. Oh, is there?
There is one.
Yeah. That's fine. Everyone has a little secret, or a little fetish, but that's fine. I mean, if I was to start talking about my fetishes, but
yeah.
Off track now. I was on a roll,
Sorry, mate.
But now he's an absolute legend in the making. He's a legend in the making if he's not a legend already. Anyone who wins the Premier League, Champions League, etc., at that age, in my opinion, is already a legend. Every single one of those players is a legend. Trent is more of a legend because he's a local. You see that the way he plays, his passion for the club, his love for the club. He's a sensational kid, man. He's an A-star. He's a credit to his family, a credit to his parents. Every fan base would love to have a local kid grow up and become what Trent has become in their team. Every single club in the world. What more can you say? He's loved, he's adored. He's matured and absolute. We've Fat Back Four have talked about him for ages, and we've had arguments with me, Gav, and Matt, and etc. We argued about, and I'm the only one who plays devil's advocate because I don't like being a super fan all the time. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I like to throw a little, little firework in there, right? But the thing is, right, his defensive game has come on so much leaps and bounds that you can now actually call him probably the best right back in the world. Before it was, Trent Alexander is only good going forward. He's brilliant at attacking, but hold on, we'll target that side. Well, we talked about Leroy Sané earlier. One of the best performances I've seen from a right back was in that game in the Champions League when, not Anfield, the one at City, where they just done an overload on his side. They played, I can't remember who they played left back now. I think they played Laporte left back, but why they done that was just given Leroy Sané just total freedom to attack Trent every single time. And I think I can't remember another attacker. May have been Bernardo Silva, who was given freedom to just do overlap and overload on Trent's side, and he handled both of them impeccably. I thought it was one of the maturest performances. I thought that was the turning point in terms of his defensive game, defensive play. Credit to Liverpool Football Club, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Good stuff. Before I come to Alex, just shout out on the graphics that we've put up there. What do people think of it? Let us know. We're just trying something different there, and they seem to be going down well. I think they're great personally, but I would. I'm biased like that. Alex, Trent. One of the things before you start, one of the things that was touched on there by Chris was, he scored a goal, and it's one thing he can work on. He's only scored 7 for us, but he's got 34 assists for us in 127 appearances. It's outrageous for a right back, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he grows up in West Derby, where my family are from, in Liverpool, just off the Queen's Road. I was on Sybil Road yesterday looking at his mural, looking up at it in awe. He's just, there's Roy of the Rovers, but then there's Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. And this kid will play for us until he's 35, and he'll stay here forever, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I genuinely do think he's in our top 5 players already at this stage. If you look at the way he strikes a ball, and you took a still of where his body is fully extended, it's identical to Gerrard. He grows up in the academy with Gerrard basically, watching over him, and him watching Gerrard as a ball boy. He's going to pick up that stuff, and that's legacy. Like, you see Gerrard's game in Trent's game, that's legacy, and that's what great players do. I'm so happy he's Scouse first and foremost, because you just know he's never going to leave, and he's only going to get better and better. He's just he defied, like that ball he did with his left foot to Robbo for that Salah header against City. That's just, you don't even do that. You don't even do passes like that, but he did it, and Robbo didn't even need to touch it. It was just inch perfect. I cannot get enough of Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Favourite assist of his was the goal in 2017-18. The cross he whips in for Salah, and Salah head lobs it over. You remember that one, now?
Header, looping header.
That ball there reminded me of the Gerrard pass to Owen on the last day of the 03-04 season. And it's about a 50-yard flat curving pass, and Owen knocks it in. He's just unbelievable. You cannot teach it. You've either got it or you don't. If you look at him, his legs are actually almost bowed. I don't know if you've seen from behind, but maybe that's why he gets them whipped.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. But one of the things as well, like he's, as I said there, he's made 127 career appearances. Now, not all in the league. He's made 86 in the league. He's 21 years old. You can't see him leaving Liverpool because he's a Scouser. Why would we want to sell him? You know, if we're successful, we keep him on there. Can he break like Ian Callaghan's appearance record, or is that something that will sort of never be broken? Because the likes of Carragher racked up appearances, but you know, will he be a mainstay? Like, can Trent be more of a mainstay? Because he's not going to miss many games. Currently, you can't see him missing many games, and as he goes on, there's no, you know, bedding in his early 20s. He's in there since he's 18, and he's in the team. You know, can he be one that can come close, or are we jumping too far ahead thinking that?
I don't know. I think that's slightly out of the question. I mean, Carragher used to say they counted the five-a-side games with Shankly for all Callaghan's caps. It's just an unbelievable number. I think Carragher's 737 or something like that.
And Callaghan's 8 something.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
It's probably similar trajectory. It's probably similar trajectory because I think Callaghan was 17, 18 when he got into Liverpool side and just one-man club. You know, but it depends on two things. One is injuries, and two is how successful we are in the next 10, 12 years. You know, if we can have if we have that level of dominance where we're playing 50, 60 games a season, it's possible, but that's a big feat. The Callaghan thing.
If he beats Callaghan's number of appearances in a Klopp team, Leicester kid, he's going to be crippled by the age.
Yeah, I was going to say, in a wheelchair.
He's not. Man, he's going to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to see Trent in a wheelchair. Leave it. Let's forget about appearance records. Let's just enjoy him.
Let's enjoy him. Yeah, let's enjoy him.
He's a joy to watch. And plus, in the modern day, rotation of fullbacks is key. And we've got a little gem, Nico Williams, who's going to sort of be rotated with him as well in the coming years. So, you know, it's going to be a great, not battle because Trent is the man. But, you know, in terms of rotation, that's where he's going to sort of maybe fall short as well in appearances-wise.
But he captained us, a lot of people are saying a future captain. Couldn't agree more. He's captained us under 16 and under 18s under Pep Linders. And Pep Linders was a huge influence on him, on his development. And, you know, that's going to hold. Pep is going to be there for a good few years, hopefully. And that will show, you know, in Trent will be the mainstay as other players sort of move on and get older and Trent develops more. He could become an absolute pivotal figure for us going forward, which is great. So that's our little review of Trent. Again, everyone start liking this show, or we're never coming back. And I'm only messing. We'll be back on Friday. It's back to the City game now. So we know we think it'll be a good game. They always are. Grizz, I think you said it last season, was a great game. The home and away, that they're always the best footballing teams in England come together, and it's never a case, which we've seen in the likes of the Classico and all, where they cancel each other out and one team's afraid to attack. This is going to be a good game no matter what. And even if City rest a few players, I still think that it'll be a very good game. So, Chris, I'm going to come to you. What's your prediction for the match tomorrow? Give us a score prediction, how you think it'll pan out, and who you think might get goals, if anyone. Because I have your prediction from a few weeks ago, by the way.
I know the one where I said 2-2.
Did you say 2-2?
Which what I said a few weeks ago. I've changed my mind since then, but you know, I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Good stuff. Who do you think will score?
Bobby and Manny.
Lovely stuff. Alex.
I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go Salah. I'm going to go Mane. Actually, 2 for Salah and 1 for Mane. That's what I'm going for. 3-1.
Why not? Yeah, why not? Grizz?
I was going to go 2-1. Chris is taking that. And then when Chris went 2-1, I was going to go 3-1. So Alex is taking that. So
we could share
wankers, really. But
just to get
now, so I'm going to go. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go back. I'm going to revert to my usual 2-2.
Oh, forget that.
I think Mo's going to score, and I think Bobby's going to score for us.
Lovely.
And I couldn't give a shit about them.
Ownborg thinks we could run riot tomorrow night. A few people seem to think that. Kev O'Sullivan thinks it could be an old ding dong 4-3. You know, anything can happen in this game tomorrow. And before we finish up, lads, how do you think?
I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised if they get a red card.
Yeah, just they're a bit over sort of over eager.
People out there.
Yeah.
On a red card.
How do you think we line up tomorrow night, lads? Do you think it'll be the Crystal Palace starting team?
Yeah. I think the only game before the Palace game this season that we've started those 11 is Atletico away in the Champions League, and that didn't go well. But on paper, that's our best, strongest 11. So there's no reason for us to slow up here. Let's carry on with the Palace team. And, if we do get to 3-1, we can bring on Nico and we can bring on Harvey just so they can get their appearances up to get a medal.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's how I see it.
On Bork with a lovely little prediction there. That's my kind of prediction. I like that. I predicted 6-0 against Everton. So, I'm happy to go on this and go 8-0 against City. So, yeah, I'm all over that. Sorry, Chris, you were saying there?
I think isn't Harvey Elliott only 3 short of a medal, which would make him the youngest ever Premier League winner?
Yeah. And do you know what's crazy? At the party, Harvey Elliott couldn't have a drink.
Oh, yeah, he's only 17, isn't
he? Yeah, true.
I'm sure Klopp maybe gave some in his Lucas age.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Do we assume it's Otamendi at centre-back then with Laporte? Because isn't Stones still injured?
Is Fernandinho suspended?
Oh, Stones and Fernandinho both injured.
Yeah.
Fernandinho was sent off, but was that done for the cup? But was he banned for the cup, or was it a 3-game ban, or what's the story?
No, we've had this before, isn't it? And they changed the rule now. It's if you're sent off in that competition, the bans for that competition.
Okay.
I just haven't seen Stones. I just assumed he's injured. Maybe he's been bombed out. I don't know. But that's if Otamendi's
even if he isn't,
Yeah, I always think Otamendi. I think he gives you the chance. He always gives you the chance, and that's probably the one you target.
I just thought of a brilliant poll to do. You know that Otamendi, Louise, and Lovren. Choose one.
Snog, marry, avoid. Lovely stuff. A lot of people are saying Fernandinho is not suspended.
Marry, avoid. That's a good one.
Fernandinho is available, so it'll be Fernandinho plus one of the stockings of shite that'll be in there, whether it's Otamendi or whether it's Stones or whether it's God knows who. It will certainly be Fernandinho playing.
Is there a lot of people saying that?
Yeah, Barry Devaney said Fernandinho available. I was saying Fernandinho's not banned, so I didn't think he was banned. I thought one
Sky Sports News.
Follow the lead.
There you go. Sky Sports News. Team news: Man City will be without Fernandinho, who must complete the second game of his 2-game ban for his red card. And so it'll either be John Stones or Otamendi. So
there you go.
So he had a 2-game ban.
So I'm not often wrong, but Chris is definitely not often wrong. So if 2 of us are saying he's suspended,
there you go.
He's suspended.
There you go.
Well, bow to you are superior.
Chris and Grizz, we could have our own show.
You could do, yeah.
You and Gav better watch out.
So we're all confident.
Chris and Grizz.
The Chris and Grizz show, good stuff. If this is only getting 15 likes, you'll be lucky to get 3 likes. No offense.
There's a challenge, yours. There's a challenge.
Listen, we're all confident that Liverpool are going to do the business tomorrow. It's going to be nice that we can sit down, as I don't know which one you said it, the lack of pressure that will be on the game. You know, that we can go in knowing that we're the champs. There's nothing at stake. A bit of psychological, maybe muscle flexing, but it's going to be a nice experience. And as I think Gav is after thrown in here, Otamendi and Stones at the back, Jesus, that will be nice. You know,
No, it's
that
going to
will
be
be.
Laporte.
Laporte will still be there.
No. Something will happen to him. I'm confident it'll be Stones and Otamendi. I like it. That's just getting me excited now. Stones, Otamendi at the back will be an absolute clusterfuck. But look,
what's your score prediction, Keith?
Hope. Oh, 8-0. I'm going with own. I'm going with 8-0.
Are you going Bowman's 8-0?
Yeah, I'm going with own's 8-0. I like that. I can give you scorers. Sepp Vandenberg will get a brace. Harvey Elliott hat-trick. And Pep Linders will get the rest. So, you know, I'm an optimist.
Do you know all those likes? They're going to be unliked now.
Can you unlike it? Well, then I take that back. 2-2 draw.
Of course you can. So shut the F up. Managed to get double-figured likes, and you're going to ruin it.
What can I say? I'm very counterproductive like that. But listen, lads, I've taken up enough of you at that time. So, Chris, thanks for joining us tonight on our build-up show.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No problem. We'll have you again soon. Alex, as you said, it's been a long time. It's good to have you back.
Thanks for having me, sir.
No problem whatsoever. And Grizz, always a pleasure to have you, my friend. You're annoying me tonight, Grizz, with this little delay in answering questions. Is he letting it go a few seconds?
There's a delay on this feed. There's a delay on the stream.
My blood is boiling here, Grizz. I'm not going to lie.
There's a delay on the stream.
I'm only joking with you. It's been a pleasure having you, as it always is. So you can hear me now, but you can hear me now.
No problem. It's a pleasure, Keith. It's a pleasure.
Nice one, my friend. Listen, this has been the LFC Daytrippers build-up show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again, I think, on Friday with another show. Good evening, take care, and good night.
Okay.